Hey there folks, and welcome back to the Dammâseq Campaign. Last time we attended to our long-term plans in a number of ways. Internally by dealing with our succession situation, firmly deciding that Arishot, our daughter and eldest child, will be the planned successor, with her slightly younger brother, Garamilki, being our backup successor. So, we also got them both married, with Arishot marrying Ahiram or Mitba. Their son, Badashtar, did unfortunately die in childbirth, but that is not necessarily the end of everything. They can hopefully have the chance for more children once the appropriate period of mourning is concluded, if they so desire. Now, our other child, Garamilki, he also has a son, Abi Rami, as well, so he does have a successor to himself if he were to be the king. Whatever the case, hopefully we're not going to have any succession situations anytime soon. But we also attended to our nation's long-term plans, mostly by considering our future expansion into Tyr and Kaman, perhaps soon to be Sama, as Sama is occupying Kaman at this point. I think that Kaman is not long for this world. Now, the reason we want to go into Kaman is to control the locations of Kaman and Sama, which are two locations we need, the last two locations we need for this decision, to unite the Aramean people, changing our name to Aram, which will take a minute to get used to, but this does give us some good benefits, and there's really no justifiable reason beyond just the name being different to not go for this gameplay-wise. We get a lot of really good bonuses for this, so we should go for it, honestly. And in the lore, Dammâseq is the stated stronghold of the Arameans, so it kind of makes sense, honestly. This might even be a Dammâseq-specific action, though I'm not entirely sure about that. In this mod, there are a large number of formables all over the place, so it's possible that Dammâseq gets its own special formable here, but there is the Aramean culture that lives over in this valley, so maybe playing as them gets you this as well. Whatever the case, that's the situation with that. In terms of going after Tyr and their ally Samaria, this is mostly going to be about securing this region, which we started to progress to at the end of the last episode with a breakneck pace siege of Anayam, which we just concluded right at the very end of my time limit, so I just sort of snuck that in right up against the timer, but it worked out in the end, and we do have this peace deal to attend to now. So, let's do just that. We can end this war. I'm going to go ahead and just take this for myself. We don't even get any AE from this. I don't know if this rounds down, it's just not showing us. We'll see if we get more AE than 5.43 in a minute, but whatever the case, this is going to be the deal we go for, obviously. So, Racation, Carnium to Dammâseq. Alright, so we did get actually about, I think, 0.4 AE or so. That's not that bad at all. And we can now go ahead and sell all these guys into slavery. I think we probably should do that for just some additional money. Now, we're going to keep this fort here, as I discussed earlier. It did unfortunately move the capital over to Carnium, which is not great because I built the fort here specifically to protect the capital, and moving it again will cost a lot of loyalty, but it is possible to do right now. This brings us down to 35 loyalty, which isn't great, but it is trending upward right now at a relatively stable pace. So I think this is fine. I cannot have an unfortified capital if I go to war with Tyr, who definitely could potentially outmaneuver around me and get over behind me. So we have to move the thing back, unfortunately. This, by the way, if I haven't made this clear before, is hands down my least favorite part of Imperator Rome. I don't understand why it works like this, if this is an intentional game mechanic to discourage capital micromanagement until you fully control the province, or if this is like a glitch or some weird mechanical problem. Because this, like, part of the game where your provincial capital moves around whenever you take territory in a province is so inexplicable and so poorly explained as why this is happening, it feels like a glitch. Any mechanic, even if it's purposeful, that is so poorly explained that it feels like a glitch is a bad mechanic. I'm sorry. I don't know if anyone out there is a hardcore provincial capital movement lover, but I am not among you. This is, in my opinion, the worst part of Imperator Rome, and that's including all my other many gripes about this game, although obviously I do love it. I think that this mechanic is so inexplicable and so nonsensical and so player unfriendly because it just requires you to babysit your provincial capitals. It's really frustrating, and I've never understood why it works like this. But with that rant over, let's spend the loyalty, move it back over into the fort. Once we get this territory, it's probably going to move again somewhere, but at that point, we're not going to be in as much danger in this area. So whatever the case, the question is, now do we actually fight Tyr with this army that we've raised, Or we could lower to get a 7th cohort, which I was not expecting to see, but I guess in the time we were sieging, we got a little bit more population. Yep, we're up to 96 Dammâseq, so definitely that assimilation is progressing along. I think because we get that 7th cohort, I will go ahead and lower the levy and re-raise them in about half a year, so that is perfectly fine. Yeah, we also do want to continue to do some colonization. We don't have the manpower stored up quite yet, so let's hold off on that. Let me just very quickly check and see that people are assimilating over here. Can we move somebody over for assimilation purposes? How many people are here? We can move the Barada slave back here from this spot here. Alright. Just double checking around here. These places up here should have plenty with those barbs that ended up here. Okay, this place actually has all Dammâseq. Can I move one person in here from elsewhere? Do I have a spare? I can move one Aramean from Bakasim. Let's do that. This may seem like a level of... Actually, no, wait, no, those were not slaves, so I can't move them. There's a freeman and a tribesman. Any slaves that I can move. Barada slave. One Barada slave. Only one slave there. Only one slave there. No. I mean, this isn't necessarily a bad problem to have. We have the Barada slave. I guess we can move the Barada slave because the tribesmen here can get assimilated. So let's move the Barada slave from Barada Spring. There we go. Yeah, not having enough people to assimilate is definitely in the realm of good problems to have for Misadventure. Alright, over here... The fact that we can only move slaves and not tribesmen really limits our ability to micromanage this. But generally speaking, I think we're doing a good enough job. I'm trying not to just like laser focus in on this all day, every day. This is going to adjust after the monthly tick. But this is an important thing to keep on top of, and this is why we have, for example, 7 cohorts, is because we're doing this micromanagement. This amount of assimilation isn't just going to happen on its own with migration. We have to, you know, press the issue ourselves. We can't trust this game to do it all perfectly. We gotta do a little bit of oversight, you know. This game's pretty good about this stuff happening in the background, but you never know. I think down here things are fine. Yeah, we are good. Okay, so with that being noted there, so we have to wait at that point. Also, by the way, my daughter is trying to assassinate some guy. It's her rival, Chelbase Ahimlik. I don't know who this is. This is literally just some guy that lives in my nation. He's not even of our culture, so I don't know where this guy came from. But he lives in my court. He's not one of my nobles. He's just some guy that lives in the court. I don't have any idea what his relationship is with Arishat, but she is trying to get him assassinated. I'm not going to interfere with that. Whatever she wants to do before I'm playing as her, that's up to her. She's a grown-ass woman that can do whatever she wants, but I don't really understand what's going on here. There doesn't seem to be any kind of relationship between her and that guy, but maybe we'll find out something later that kind of gives some more context. Whatever the case, I think we keep waiting on making gains. Tiring devotion for 3 stability. Oh! Thankfully, Arishat seems to be in remission from her previous ailment. Doctors are overrated anyways. Curious. We also got that stab increase from that event. Alright, so that is handy. She did have some sort of illness earlier, but she's still in mourning, obviously. I mean, a parent that loses a child, especially under these circumstances, probably is going to be in mourning for their lifetime. But what effect is that having mechanically on her? Just to check that. Charisma, zeal, and health. It is what it is. I'm not going to order her to stop mourning her literal dead baby. That would be pretty heartless of me. And as we all know, Imperator Rome is a game in which you play as a very nice and compassionate person that doesn't do anything ethically or morally questionable ever. What are you talking about? If you ever want to die, by the way, play a drinking game called Misadventurer Makes Snarky Commentary about Imperator Rome, simulating very bad things that happened in history, and then you will, your brain function will cease as you watch my videos, because I make a lot of snide comments about this exact topic. I don't know why I always focus on that. It's not like anyone that is into this game thinks that this game is meant to be a guidebook for moral living. Clearly it's not, and it's not, no one expects it to be, right? It's a strategy game that's simulating a brutal period in history with a lot of terrible stuff happening. And as long as we're the ones doing the most terrible stuff, we can stay on top, which is really, if you think about it, pretty historically accurate to the time period. I mean, if you actually look at the real history of like the Romans or whatnot, it was not necessarily the clean Hollywood vision people have of that time. That's what I like, by the way, about the HBO series Rome, which I know has some historical problems, but is overwhelmingly such an authentic presentation of, Republican Rome, and in all of its kind of gritty detail. Like that show does not shy away from how messed up that place was. Whatever the case, Rauda prospers. The Council of Rauda has sent an envoy proclaiming that harvests, trade, and taxation have all produced a huge surplus this year. In a splendid show of national spirit, they've decided to offer the additional income to the state. Perhaps we could let them spend the money for their own uses. Okay, so I'm assuming we could get loyalty up here, but loyalty is basically good to go up here. This is a very good core part of my territory right now, Fissure Springs. I could get 20 gold, which, okay, that's about 4 months of income. Get a bazaar in Rauda. Let's double check actually and see what that would do. Actually, should get a training camp going. I forgot to build that earlier, but if we were to get a bazaar, this is okay, but I don't really think it's necessary at the minute. We could also do this for popularity. Let's see here. That would be 5 years of pop loyalty, which is fine, and Freeman happiness, which could help, but Freemans around here are pretty happy. Is that in just Rauda? That's the whole province of Fissure Springs. Freemen around here are basically, well, not these guys necessarily, but these guys are wrong culture, so that's getting worked on. So this might be good, but I don't think it's amazing. Or they could get a peacekeeper. That's apparently what the residents want. A peacekeeper is a good building, but this is the least important city for this kind of building, because this is a control building. So I think we'll actually just take the money ourselves. I think deconstructing one of these buildings isn't worth 20 gold, I'm fairly sure. I guess I could test this now. This is a fairly safe time to test this question. So let's see, which is more valuable? Bazaar is 158, Peacekeeper is 158. So let me get a Peacekeeper, and then let's see how much did this is worth. So we're at 367. Oh wow, that was 40 gold to deconstruct that. Wow, that event is not tuned very well, because if you know about deconstructing being worth 40 gold, then it's basically a free extra 20 gold for no downside, so that's pretty good. And then let's go ahead and actually build a building ourselves. Let's build the training camp over here. Maybe even a training camp in Dammâseq, actually, also. I think we should just go for it. Yeah, there's not a ton of population here, but we do have 4 freemen who will produce more manpower. And down here we have 4 freemen, well, we have 1 Dammâseq freeman and 2 Dammâseq tribesmen. So although we have more population, I do think that Rauda will get more effect from the training camp, at least for now. But we are working on assimilation as we go here. Right. So the military is going to be... Oh, military is ready right now? Did enough time already pass? I guess I was just unpaused for longer than I thought. The brain fog continues. Alright, so our military is ready to go. Do we want to attack Tyr now is the question. I mean, obviously we do want to get involved here. So, claims-wise, do we have a claim on Tyr? We do have a claim on Tyr. We don't have a claim on these guys down here. No, wait, we do? No, they have a claim on me. Okay, never mind. Yeah, I have no claims down here, so I need to get a claim. I think at this point, the smart move might be to get a claim on Sama directly, so that once they take this, I can just attack them with that claim. Although, I would have to spend my PI for that. But I think that it is a priority to get these cities. I think because Kaman is going to get the... or not Kaman, sorry. Because Sama is going to get this territory probably pretty soon in the peace deal, we can safely fabricate a claim on them. The claim on Kaman will be wasted, because the claims are, I believe, tag-based, so... Even though the claim is for a province, the claim while it's being generated is targeting a tag. I might be wrong about this. This is some high-level Imperator Rome meta information I don't remember offhand, but I think the safer bet is to get the claim on Sama, even for their territory over here, but then still target this territory up here. So, Galad is, yeah, this province down here. Definitely a little awkward for it to not be the war target I care about, but we may as well, if we're going to enter this region, just go ahead and take on both the Kaman province and the Galad province. This is a bit more defensive as well, because this gives us more territory to kind of protect against people further down in the valley. I guess we could wait until they control this and get the claim going then. I don't think there's any rush to get the claim now. The war with Tyr will probably take a minute. So Tyr's ally, so this is actually quite nice. I talked about this last episode. Tyr's ally, Samaria, is in this separate, unrelated war with Jaffa that Tyr, for some reason, isn't in, which means that Samaria is going to be preoccupied, but Tyr is still ready and willing to go. So one thing we could do is ally with Hosanna, which would also help protect ourselves from future shenanigans. They're also in that defensive league with Kumidu, so this might, I guess I'm not scared of Kumidu attacking me, but these guys would become my ally. They are a really obvious sort of partner for the Tyr war. That being said, they might try to get stuff in the war, although that being said, I'm actually fine not getting much stuff. As I said before, I might do the war and just try to grab, I guess it would just be a peck. I can get that really quickly. I might not even need an ally for this war. The issue is, even though I think Samaria will be preoccupied, I can't guarantee Samaria doesn't have anti-player bias kick in when I start a war against Tyr, and they just, like, about-face and rush right up to go get involved with their cohorts. So the safe bet is to bring in some sort of nearby ally just to help bolster the numbers in the aggregate. Because even if I take a peck immediately, I'm not sure I'll be able to peace out right away without getting more war score. So I think the safe bet here is to temporarily ally with Hazaza. They do control a very strategically helpful fort right here in the middle of everything. And they do also have a very juicy, unfortified city at Dawn, which the Tyrians may rush over to. That's what I would do. They've got also more unfortified cities up here. Their capital is unfortified. Come on, AI. You know better than this. This is your starting capital, too. What are you doing? I think they literally destroyed the fort they start with to... I don't know what the situation is. The AI works in mysterious ways. But whatever the case, let's get this alliance going with Hazaza. This is a temporary alliance only, just for this one war. Re-raise the force, get our morale going. Let's do regular pay. Fort maintenance, I think this turned on automatically. We'll keep it on, though, for now. And then our fort here will also help control the area. I think one thing we might do as well is actually rush over and grab Hazor first, even though our target is going to be Apec. Yeah, because Carniums, that's this down here. Because this is another provincial capital, more war score for us. And Hazaz might get it for themselves. So let's wait until we can start the war on 27th of September by calling these guys in at the same time. Also keeping an eye on Samaria's situation, see if they get out of their war. We shall see what happens with that. 1750 on our standard army now. That's pretty good. Alright, here we go. Alright, Tyr. So this is, I think, our first war against a regional power. Possibly, I don't think these guys were a regional power when I fought them, but Tyr might be our first regional power. Tyr is definitely the most powerful nation we fought so far, but I think we have a pretty narrow focus for this war. I'm not trying to overextend into new regions here. I don't really want to enter the Phoenicia region at the minute, which if I were to keep the stuff over here, I would. I just need this for war score. I do need to enter Jordan Rift Valley for my decision, but again, I'm trying to avoid region splits when possible, because with the mods that I have, as I've said many times, they're no longer as powerful. Oh, well, this is unexpected. Really? War balance is that bad for you? Well, I was not expecting them to not want to do it. That is an issue. Well, I don't really have a good way to react to this. I don't know what other people would be willing to do around here. I think I should dissolve the alliance and just go for the war myself. I think I'll be safe, and I can always hire this giant mercenary force that lives over in Dammâseq in an emergency. Again, I think that controlling these tiles should be fairly easy. And I'd rather not have an alliance lingering around that I'm not taking advantage of, so let's end that alliance and just go to war directly. So they are going to call in Samaria. So this is a very dangerous war declaration, all things considered. We're taking on a similarly sized enemy with an ally that is also fairly powerful. Together they have more numbers than we do for sure. But we may have the advantage of being a human person with human intelligence. Occasionally, not always, but every so often. So, I mean, maybe this decision will call that into question, but let's go for it. Alright. So, Dammâseq stands alone this time. The Canaanite regional powers of Tyr and Samaria have rallied together to defend. Okay, so first things first, we're going to rush over and try to sack Hazor as best we can. The least we can do is damage the stuff over here, get some more score. Also, another provincial capital down here, too, so we can get a lot of provincial capitals in succession here. Hopefully our morale recovers a bit faster than that. I guess we'll see what happens. Let's get to it. At speed 2 would probably be the right speed. Alright. Yeah, so their closest fort is Rehob, which I don't really want to commit to at the minute before I know where they all are. Okay, here's the tier army. So as I thought, they have 5 cohorts, which we do now handily outnumber. Although, as expected, they have this mysterious super morale that the AI all seems to have. What's this coming from here exactly? So they have increased pay going on, which is pretty smart from their point of view. This is a questionable attack. I mean, I don't think they can beat me with a 500 manpower deficiency, but they can definitely damage my army quite a bit with the current morale situation. That being said, they don't arrive here before the monthly tick, and if I cheekily increase the pay, we might get the increased pay bonus for the monthly tick. So let's see what happens here, but this is a dicier situation than I was necessarily hoping to see. Okay, they're gonna just walk right past me. That's fine, because they have to deal with Aniam, which does have 500 garrison, so if they want to go start sieging this down, that's fine by me. They could technically go around it, but they'd then have to probably deal with Ain Thakar. I'm fine to let them just walk right by me, honestly, while I'm recovering up my manpower. So this stuff over here, I can probably just shred it. Yeah, none shall hide, I think. Kill some of these people. I'm just killing these Kadesi, who are, let's see, these are all the same culture group. So that's not as great, but I think it's fine. We're not going to be taking the stuff in this war, so none shall hide. I want the money and the prestige and the popularity. And Legion, or cohort loyalty isn't really that big of a deal. So I think we want to follow them, but not that closely. I don't want to accidentally fight them when I'm not at full morale. They've got over a 1-point morale advantage over me right now, and again, they couldn't win in a direct fight, but they could give us a real fighting shot there. So let's carefully follow behind them, but making sure that we don't accidentally run into them. Okay, they're going to come up to Anaim. That's perfectly fine. I'm happy to let them waste their time on that. Alright, let's see here. So we can safely maneuver around down this direction. I'm going to grab a peck right away, because this is the war target. Alright, so if this is their entire army, I do feel fairly safe, as long as Samaria stays preoccupied by Jaffa. Jaffa does have a fort under their control, and this is also not a capital, but it is a city. So I think that Samaria, unless the anti-player bias is even worse than I thought, they are unlikely to come back up this direction. But I guess we'll see what happens. They'd have to go quite a distance to make it up here. So we shall see. This is also a pretty good fight for us to take when we are ready, because we'll be defending in the hills with the defensiveness bonuses. So let's grab these 2 tiles and then come back up. We'll be at full morale by then and go for a defense up there. I think that's probably the smart move. We can hopefully finish the war off after maybe just getting this stuff and maybe taking that fight. I'd prefer not to use up my manpower like that, but I suppose it would be fine. We shall see what ends up having to happen there. I'm just raising my maintenance just preemptively, just in case we do have to take this fight. Of course they get a breach right away, so I don't know what I was expecting, honestly. Watch them go to 0% from 28 as well. That's probably what we're going to see. Alright, so Apec is a location I will keep, but I don't need it to be 10 population. I think it might be better for our control of the area to go ahead and just click that button there. Come down and grab this. Alright, keep recovering. January, here we go. Alright, supply shortage. Okay, that's not so bad, actually. I think we're fine. I'm really enjoying the new headset situation. So much easier. Alright, we got some more slaves. Okay, now the question is, can we piece them out right now? So we can't even do white peace, so that is a big fat no. At least not on this monthly tick. Let me start moving, but let's see. February 1st. Alright, monthly tick has occurred. How are they feeling? They still won't do white peace. Alright, well, I guess we're going to go defend in the hills. We're at full morale. They do still have the morale advantage, but again, numbers-wise, they can't win an attack in the hills with a 500-man numbers disadvantage. Martial-wise, 4 martial versus 6 martial, yeah, we should be fine. Assuming that we don't get some sort of outrageous siege loss right here, but we're going to get there before it gets into actual winnable numbers. Also prosperity. Ooh. We've seen this event before. We could get national tax for the whole nation. Yes, that's the whole nation for 5 years. Losing popularity on this guy I don't care about. Or 6 stability is also quite tempting. I think if we go any higher on stability, we're going to probably hit negative trend. So the tax rate might be actually a bit better, especially because we're over 50 stability. I don't think we necessarily need to go up to 58 and start to have negative trend back down. I may as well enjoy the positive trend at the minute. And national tax would help out the economy a fair bit. So let me see what this does here. We're going to give this a try. So 5.74, 6.45. That's definitely a noticeable difference. Okay, these guys are going to run, as I thought they might. So we're going to try and block them. So we're going to get there at the same time. I don't know who the aggressor is. This is kind of a mystery, because we're both getting there simultaneously. Yeah, I guess we'll see what happens with that. Okay, they actually stopped moving. So let me actually just do it like this, so I can try and cut them off. I want to take this fight in the actual hills tile, if possible. Yeah, so the game often misunderstands how forts work and thinks that we're actually the attacker, so it says, you might win, but they have better terrain, which is just not true at all. This is just wrong. This is another thing that I wish that the anniversary patch fixed, but oh well. Right, here we go, the Battle of Anayam. We're the defender, and yes, of course, we both rolled pretty well. Oh. The battle continues? What's going on here? Oh, glitchy battle there. Okay, we only got 1 war score from that. They still wouldn't accept. Their chance of white peace actually went down, which is mysterious. I don't know how this is calculated. Ooh, Samaria ended their war. Okay, that's why their white peace chance went down, because Samaria is now fully committed to this war. They lost to Jaffa pretty hard, so I mean, Samaria is probably not in great shape militarily, but those are more cohorts to worry about. So, a problem we have now is I have no more easy targets to reach. Yeah, so in terms of what I want to do, so obviously I'm not going to do a white piece. What I want is this. This is all that I need at the minute. We just need to make it to this deal. I guess technically... Actually, no, this is a different part of the Jordan Rift Valley. I don't want to enter into the valley before I need to with this stuff down here. I can just get this later. So, this is the deal that I want. I'm going to try to get this deal. I think what we do is, let's see. I guess we just go start working on Rahab. Although that being said, we're going to have ticking war score. Why don't we actually... The question is, if we post up, can they organize all their forces together to outnumber us and then come back before ticking war score gets us this deal? That I'm not so sure about. Assuming we get 1 more war score per month or so, that's like basically a year or so. I mean, it's 9 months, it's not a full year, but I don't know if that's a smart move. I think we need to get more war score in that time somehow. Now, the real question is, can I get access to these guys? I can through Rahab. The Rahab access might be kind of big, because then we can reach Zebulun and sack that and get more war score from that. So let me ask for military access from Rahab. Presumably these guys do not like their big neighbor Tyr, so maybe they're happy to facilitate Tyr's destruction to some extent. So we're going to sneak through the fort coverage. So this is why you got to have good fort coverage, because look at this situation here. Tyr did not plan their fort coverage very well. They've left a literal city in the valley between the fort coverage. So that is a misplay by Tyr. Sucks to suck, I guess, but we're going to keep our army maintenance on full. Could lower fort maintenance to be cheeky, but I don't think we need to at the minute. I think we're going to be just fine even without that. Also, Sama won their war against these guys, so we should spend some of our PI to get a claim going on these guys down here. Ooh, you know what? They have a civil war going on. Gilad has revolted, so... And we don't have a claim, so we can't take advantage of this anyways. They do have a lot of allies. This will be kind of a big war. But let's fabricate a claim on Kaman. This is going to take a while, probably. Actually, this is only about a year and a bit, so let's get the claim going. Yeah, that's fine. Our ticking war score is helping. Oh, they would actually take this deal right now. Okay, so remember when I said earlier that this is the only deal I want to take? But then there's the fact that I'm greedy, so perhaps we could go a little further. What would that look like? No, I don't really want to get a new region split right now. I'd rather just start the region splitting with the last area I need to get for my decision, because at this point I'll control the entire Herman region, aside from uncolonized land. There's no more wars to get more Herman region stuff, so this fully takes over the Herman region in its last little extent. So I think we go for this deal now, save ourselves some money and manpower, and just cool down, and then get ready for the Sama War in about a year. So I think we go for this. Not to mention, we don't know if Samaria somehow has a giant army, or maybe they have mercs stored up they can use, so we may be dodging some sort of bullet here, just to be safe. So let's go ahead and do this deal. So, Tyrianian, Carnium to Dammâseq. This is going to leave them with this weird exclave over here at Mevohama, but that's their problem. I don't really care. And this is the deal we want. Let me just make sure real quick. Yes, this is the deal that I want. Alright, let's do it. My king, the Canaanite regional power of Tyr, accepts your generous peace offer. Tyrian Carnium to Dammâseq. Thank you. Alright, you're gonna stop moving, get lowered. Alright, so these guys are gonna be ready again. More than soon enough for our war against Sama. So now, aside from the uncolonized regions, we do fully control our home region, which is a good place to be at. It's not the lushest home region in the universe. Really, it's just this northern part around these valleys and these oases that are quite lush. Down here is just a big plain, but I guess in this part of the world, being a big plain is better than being a big desert. Plains are actually kind of a good tile for cities compared to other ones. They're probably the third or fourth best after floodplains, oases, and farmlands. They're probably the fourth best after all those. Whatever the case, capital moved over to Carnium again, so that is very annoying. I need to deal with that again. Now the fort so actually first of all, let me go ahead and do that and do that. Now the fort at Anaim, I think I just will keep for now. This does a good job of protecting my border with Tyr, and I will probably fight Tyr again in the future. The city of Apec is probably going to have to go. This is a hill city, so that is not going to work for me. We can also sell these buildings for some big bucks. Get some tyranny from that. Alright. And then we do have some nobles still in our thing here that we can sell off. This is from that rebellion. So let's go ahead and, not our rebellion, but from the rebels that we killed at the start of the episode. So 50, and then 1050. I just forgot to sell these guys earlier, so I'll get to it now. Alright. And then, let me see you. Alright, tyranny-wise, I think we're fine. 41 is high, but we are managing just fine. Okay, now with all of our money. Okay, so the question is, do we decide to end this now? I think we should probably go ahead and start wrapping up Matter of Herman. I want to start getting other missions. And if I can get a mission tree to go into Jordan Rift Valley, that's going to complement my entry into the region with the Sama War in about a year fairly well. So that being said, though, we're not in a position to finish control Damascus Oasis. We would need still 4 more colonizations. This one here we need 1 more colonization, and then we get 5 free Dammâseq freemen, and that's quite valuable. So I think I will at least wait to be able to colonize Ortal to get the 5 freemen. They spawn in Carnium, which isn't ideal, but they can just move. They'll move eventually. So aside from that, I think we should pretty soon grab this stuff over here. Triumphs gives us Triumph in Dammâseq, so that's perfect, and then we get some bonuses for our leader. So I think what we do now is we now just hold the fort down, wait until we have 750, colonize Ortal, and then finish the mission tree up, and then see if we can get Matter of Jordan Rift Valley after that. We also don't need to go to war with Sama right away, but we probably shouldn't wait too long. I want to sneak in before someone bigger like Jaffa or Samaria or Tyr starts to get interested in this area. Sama should be a slightly easier war, although they do come with a lot of friends. They're teamed up with Jericho and Moab, Moab especially kind of unnerves me with their size. There's probably 4 to 5 cohorts, 4-ish cohorts, and then over here, really 4-ish to 5-ish cohorts, so definitely a sizable enemy coalition there. This is definitely a time where maybe allying with Rabat Aman would be kind of clutch, because these guys are right in the middle of everything. But now that I know that some of these folks will just decline to join into wars because they're scared of the enemy, that could present some problems for sure. Can I somehow, like, fund this revolt? I think that's an action you can take, right? No, I can like, support rebels as a major power, but I can't directly help these guys. I could guarantee them. That'd be kind of funny. But all of the allies are fighting that guy. Also, the Western Dead Sea is, I think, a breakaway province from Jericho. Actually, these guys are Yerushalemi, which is not the Jerichoi. I don't know who this... Let's see. Yeah, this must be... I think this is an older Jericho rebellion, because they're fighting Jericho and Sama, but they're not fighting Moab. So maybe Moab joined this alliance after this rebellion started. I don't know why Moab wouldn't join against this rebellion, but they would against this other rebellion. Kind of unclear. Now, one thing I could do is ally with Petra, who would ally with me, and they're quite a powerful nation. Now, maybe not, though, because they're only a local power. I guess they control a lot of large territories, but they don't actually control a lot of territories. Yeah. Their native culture isn't even their most... isn't even their plurality culture. They've got more Elathi than Nabateans. What Petra does for me is it gives Moab especially a big, long target to focus on that's not me. So Petra could be a smart strategic pick for a friend. I'll have to think about this more. I'm not going to make this decision probably in this episode, but I will continue to dwell on it. Either way, we do have a farming settlement here that we're going to go ahead and destroy, and that is that. We'll keep the fort here, as said earlier. Yeah, of these spots, I think that Eliot is a better place for the fort, but I'm not going to move the fort right now. That is a waste of money for not that much of a change. And this is in a better location for the future Tyre War. Not in the best location to help us with Sama. We do need to move our capital before we do anything here. So one problem we're going to have here is the Carnium capital being moved like this again, my least favorite game mechanic, now makes us very vulnerable for the Sama War that I'm planning to do. So that's not great, but I don't really know what I can do about that. I just have to wait until I have enough loyalty to move it back, which is very frustrating, but it is what it is. There's nothing I can do about that. Yeah, let's just keep waiting. So at this point, we're waiting for 750 manpower to colonize Ortal, and then we finish up our mission tree and see what we get after that. Alright, 7 cohorts, that was quite nice. And we are presumably continuing along here. 106 Dammâseq now, so this is definitely advancing at a good pace. Let me check once again, just make sure everyone is assimilating. I'm just checking over here, by the way. My eyes are over there whenever I look at this stuff. Let me just pause it really quick while I do this. Just kind of eyeballing it really quick to make sure that there is a simulation happening over here. Just to make sure that I'm not accidentally not assimilating everywhere. Ooh, wow. Yeah, there's a lot of people who can move over. Let me move. Were you not assimilating? You had a... Okay, whatever. They should start assimilating now. There was someone they could have been assimilating and they weren't, so... Rather mysterious. Whatever the case, though. Over here also. They should be assimilating this guy. What? Why are you not assimilating this guy? Okay, whatever. Let me just move someone over for them to assimilate. Just to be thorough. From Harak. Sounds fine. Right down here. Things are looking good. Alright. And then we'll trade. Not with Kaman. Actually, wait a sec. Hold on. What? Wait, Kaman survives? I did not even realize this. So Kaman didn't get killed off. They clung on barely over here in this weird split nation. They're also fighting Tyr and the Sumerian Revolt. Wait, what? Why is the Sumerian Revolt, or the Samaean Revolt fighting Kaman? What is going on here? I did not even notice these guys. Okay, well, I'm not going to trade with Kaman. That's goofy. I'll trade with Lamia. That's fine. And I'll trade with Apathy for honey. Sounds good to me. Alright. So, all throughout this campaign, I feel like, even though I think I'm playing pretty well, this has definitely been a more technically complicated campaign. There's just, with the mods that I have, there's so much going on with the math that I have to pay attention to, and I can't get caught lacking, you know. I've just got to keep focused in on making sure that my assimilation is running as efficiently as possible everywhere. I mean, what are we in, right? We're almost 20 years into the game. Actually, we're over that. We're almost 25 years into the game, and we already have a 7 monthly income, 2,600 manpower max. Things are definitely looking quite good, all things considered. Oh, this is just so frustrating. But hopefully soon I never have to worry about this again. I just need to wait a bit longer, and I can move it. Well, the capital's in the wrong spot. It's going to have people migrating over to Carnium, which is not where I want them to be. These guys need to move over to Ainthakar. I do not want them just hanging around in the wrong spot. Ainthakar is where the fort is, so please don't hang out here in the unfortified plains, you goofies. Alright, so definitely the dynamic over here has changed a lot with Jaffa entering the area. So Samaria has been weakened substantially, although they didn't lose a lot of their core population. Yeah, I think against the two of them without... Our training camps are done, by the way, so let's see. 2692, next monthly tick, let's see what we get. $2802, definitely an improvement. It's only going to get better as well as our manpower, or as our freemen and tribesmen numbers increase. Alright, let's go ahead and get Orkal, so I have enough PI and manpower for this. There we go. Perfect. Alright. And now we can go ahead and do conquer Carnium. So we get 5 Dammâseq Freemen in Carnium. So I think this just always picks Carnium. I was picking Carnium even when Ainthakar was the capital, so these are more people that have to move out of Carnium. Carnium is a very juicy, non-city occupation target right now, with all the population that's going to be there, but better to have the Freemen than to not have the Freemen, so I will take it. Just need to move over to Ainthakar. Making Ainthakar a city will help that a lot too. More migration attraction. Alright, so I think, at this point, I think I'm ready to go ahead and wrap up this mission tree. I don't really want to wait around to get this, and although the bonus is quite good, waiting around for... What would that be? 3,000 more manpower in total to do all of these colonizations is not worth the wait. Yeah, and 15 PI, losing 2.5 AE. These are not super important things to get. So, making gains, and also this, again, this is a nice bonus, but I don't want to wait around. So making gains, we're going to get Occupation Welcomed in Fissure Spring for even more bonuses. Consolidate gives us population output for 10 months, or for 10 years rather. Triumph in Herman. Dammâseq gave us Triumph for 120 months, so that's 10 years of increased output and increased citizen happiness. This should affect our manpower max quite a bit actually, because that's happiness, or that's output for freemen and tribesmen, and one more charisma for Ibtur Dagon rather. He only has 3 at the minute, so Triumph in Herman. There we go. I think we go ahead and finish the mission, the Matter of Herman. We have successfully, in my opinion, completed the first part of the early game, maybe arguably the full early game. We are at this point a regional power, so definitely we have entered a new phase of the campaign to some extent, but I don't feel very safe quite yet. We do have a lot of large neighbors. Ebla won their war against Ugarit and got some coastal stuff over here, including some very valuable coastal riverside farmland. Ugarit actually got split in 2, so this is kind of brutal. Tyr is still a sizable rival for us. We are definitely, for sure, stronger than they are now. Look at all these, all this population we have at the minute, thanks to all those assimilations wrapping up. But these guys are still going to present a considerable obstacle. We can't just roll them over, especially while they're still allied with Samaria, who's going to have some cohorts too. Jaffa, Moab, and Petra seem to be the rising powers in the area. Tyr doesn't seem to be doing as great. Whatever the case, though, I think we're looking pretty good. And, yeah, what was I going to do? Oh, yeah. Finish the mission. Matter of Herman. Okay, so we have a couple of options. So it's actually picking Phoenicia as our other potential target, which is not the location I want to go into. I think I'm going to hold off on picking a new mission until a bit later on, because we may be able to get Matter of Jordan Rift Valley as just a random roll of what missions to get. Pearl of Herman is way beyond our capacity right now. This is going to require having cities and tons of infrastructure. We're not really in a position to do this right now. Maybe in 50 years we could do Pearl of Herman, but right now we don't have the money or the time to focus on that. Have to secure the borders first, so we're going to just hold off on picking a new mission right now. No need to start the Phoenicia mission when that's not the region I want to go into next. Right. Okay, so with that all being noted, I think we keep waiting. 2nd of September. Oh, 1 day. Okay, we can raise our levy again. Do we get ready for war with Sama? I think because they're preoccupied with the revolt, perhaps yes, especially because we aren't going to get everything. Just this northern section, which does involve a double fort, which isn't great. Now, actually, I think Jericho killed their rebellion. Yeah, so Jericho's ended their rebellion or their civil war or whatever. They just wiped them from the planet. So this is all uncolonized now. So all of them are just fighting this revolt here, which means all their forces should be up in this area. Now, the issue is, allying with Petra, I think is fairly safe because I don't think anyone else around Petra is going to attack Petra. Petra is very isolated from everybody because they're just surrounded by desert and little goofy tribes that I'm sure... Actually, I guess this is a monarchy. This is a tribe. Petra is actually also a tribe. So we're not allying with Petra for their army, but more so for their border with Moab. This should possibly draw away Moab forces. Against just Sama numbers, we win. Against Sama and Jericho, we probably win. Against Sama, Jericho, and Moab, I'm not sure that we win in a straight-up fight. Of course, my plan is to not ever take a straight-up fight, because I don't let the AI fight me fairly, because then they'd probably win. So our goal here is to disorient and sort of redistribute these forces as much as possible. I think Petra does the best job at accomplishing this. Incidentally, Jaffa would be a pretty good ally because they border Jericho so much, and they would also be open to this, but they're currently fighting Hebron. I don't really want to get involved in this stuff over here. So Petra could be a good long-term ally as well because they're not in the... hold on. Yeah, Petra is definitely not within the Jordan Rift Valley area, and they're not primed to enter it soon, so we can very safely ally with them for the long term. I'm not going to go all the way into Moab and Edom anytime soon, so I think Petra, although they aren't necessarily as strong as they look, they do bring a lot of territory to distract the enemy. That's more valuable than numbers at this point. And there's no really better person. I don't think... The reason I'm not picking Rabat Ammon, who are an obvious alternative... here's what I'll do, actually. I'm going to ally with both Rabat Ammon and Petra. I don't think Rabat Ammon will agree to join the war. I think they're going to be too scared. I think Petra will agree. So let me just hedge my bets here and actually ally with both of them, because I can. And then in a month, we'll go to war. Which means I should probably pay my troops and my forts. Whoops. Ooh, we actually have line of sight now over the area. Is this the whole Sama army? That's only one cohort, Sama. Maybe they got hurt in a fight? Okay, I don't know what's going on. Sama is a kingdom, so their army shouldn't be split apart. And they have a zero martial... Actually, who is this? Jordan Rift Valley. That's their home region. Why isn't their king leading their army? They're a kingdom. Their king is 8 martial. Who's this guy? Wait, I'm looking at the wrong person. That's Rabat Ammon. This is Sama. Their king is actually 0 martial. Okay, so this is Sama's actual king. So maybe Sama's actually kind of weakened right now. Alright, whatever. Let's ally. Oh, we've already allied with them. So we wait for that month. We get our levy going. I think the plan will be to just appear down in... Let's come in from the corner over by Apec, where we have more... We can decide which one to focus on first. They're basically the same target-wise. Sama is a slightly safer siege because it's in plains, not hills, so if we had to do a fight here, it'd be a better fight. I think we go for Sama first, and it's closer to me, so it makes sense. Now, they can easily reach Carnium, which currently is the most populated any place on Earth is, seemingly, with all these people here. I really want to move this, but I don't want to wait until this is 50 to move it, so just gotta risk it, because this game has these frustrating mechanics that don't make any sense. Alright, let's reorganize for this month, and then... Yeah, so... Actually, what am I doing? I can't go to war until 1st of July. Literally, what am I doing? I'm throwing it right now. Okay, that's fine. We'll just hang out here and build up our morale. We don't need to reorganize then. Yeah. Literally, I just said a moment ago I have to wait until this. Alright, whatever. So that was definitely a weird misplay. I don't know why I got this all ready right now, as if I have the claim ready. It is not ready. Yeah, it's not ready. And these guys both wouldn't do it right now. Once I have the claim, maybe they would do it, but... Yeah, them both not doing it is definitely an issue. I don't think either of them will be attacked in the meantime, so I think it's safe to keep these alliances in effect. But I guess we'll see. What's the problem exactly? War balance. They really are scared of this enemy alliance. I haven't seen war balance be this big of an effect. I think this might be a change from Bronze Age Reborn. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, if that's going to be a recurring problem, I mean, the fact that I don't like using allies, it may not even be a matter of my choice. I may just not be able to use allies if they're this scared. I mean, look, my dudes, right? Like, the three of us, especially with my numbers, do actually outnumber the three of them. So I don't know what you're so scared of. I mean, they are correctly assessing that they're in much more danger than I am, but that's why I made them my allies, just for that reason. So yeah, that's not great. I'll keep them as my allies for now, but I may drop them if they won't join the war when I declare it. So we just wait. We'll save up a big war chest, hire the mercs if absolutely necessary. In fact, honestly... Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to play around. You guys are missing your chance to board the misadventurer train. Okay, that sounded much worse when I said that out loud. You're missing your chance to join the triumphant ascent of Dammâseq into the region. No one's running a train on misadventurer, unfortunately, so let's go ahead and dissolve these alliances. Alright, you guys are going to be next on my conquest list when the time is right. What we're going to do is do it ourselves with mercs. Yeah, we just can't rely on the AI to do anything right. So let's hire the mercenaries. It's expensive, but we have the money stored up, and we actually can maintain them. Maybe not at increased maintenance, but just regular maintenance should be perfectly fine. So let's hire these guys. Bring them over. We have time for them to replenish up before the war is ready. And going in with the larger numbers with the mercs is, I think, actually a smarter move for a number of reasons. This keeps our strength sort of gathered together. And ultimately, what I'm most concerned about is the AI... effectively coordinating and all coming at me at the same time. And me having everyone gathered together in one place is better than relying on the goofy allies to come up and join me in time. So this is also safer in a number of ways. So this is the plan. Let's just speed this up while we wait. She's about to finish her scheme. Not a very high success chance, but we shall see what happens with that. Friends across borders. Our High Priest, Melkartis Mashad, has friends far outside our borders, often trying to use his networks to our advantage for our nation. He believes his friendship with the royal tutor of Sama could be put to use in increasing their opinion of us. I don't think this guy's heard the news about our plans at the minute. I'm not going to do this. He has a lot of loyalty, so this is perfectly fine. We don't care about Sama. In fact, we really, really don't care about Sama. I mean, is this guy, like, not paying attention to the cabinet meetings? Because I think our plans for Sama are fairly well projected at this point. I think everyone around here knows exactly what's going on. Our army's just, like, posted up at the border suspiciously. All of them are there, so very questionable. Alright, yeah, so the priority here is Sama. I might even do an assault. I think if I breach Sama, I will assault, even though it's the first fight, because I only technically need Sama and Kaman, and this might be enough war score if I just hold the fort down for long enough. Hard to say what's going to happen here, but I think we should be okay. Right, we actually are still below the weight limit with everybody here, so that's pretty good. Actually, no, let's not reorganize. That's a bad idea. That's very expensive. We can just go in with partial morale. That'd probably be fine. Let's put you on shock action, and then have you lead, you follow. You are on the right tactic. These guys are still fighting their rebellion, so they're preoccupied. That's good, because we know that at least their armies, though they are raised, they're not going to be raised right up here. Sama is their... Actually, it's not their capital. Where's their capital? Am I blind? Where is Sama's capital? Actually, where is their capital? Hold on. Oh, it's Sukkot, isn't it? Yeah. So their name is Sama, but Sama isn't their capital. Okay, that's a little weird. Did they move their capital? I don't remember who was here before, but I feel like this should be their capital, right? Their name is literally Sama. I don't know what's going on. I mean, our name's about to be Aram, and our capital is going to be still Dammâseq. So I guess a name isn't everything at the end of the day. That is my wise assessment of that. Okay, building back up our manpower. Even with everyone raised, we're still at 2,600 manpower max. Pretty good. That is, that's pretty good for sure. We're up to July now. 131 Dammâseq. After this war's done, we will take a probably 7-ish year peacetime before we continue on into the valley. I also want to see if I get new missions. I may need to reload the game client for that. We'll do that after this episode, obviously. We have a claim on the province of Kaman. Okay. Oh, she's content in life. So did she... She didn't successfully kill this guy, presumably. He has arthritis, so he does have kind of bad health at the minute. What did this guy do to her? I'm still trying to figure this out. I do not know. He's rivaled with her as well, so it's like a mutual rivalry situation. Very mysterious. Also, she lost her in mourning for her kid. Not having any more kids yet, which I kind of hope to see, but I guess we'll see what happens with that. My other son has had a daughter now named Tabua, so he's getting to it. So we shall see the results of that stuff. Okay, so if we declare the war, both of these guys do join in, which is annoying. But I think with our 4K, and this is a total of 16 cohorts, we definitely... At most, at extreme most upward scaling for the AI's benefit, they might have 15 cohorts in total at most. So we have more cohorts in total. I don't even need to check. I'm already sure none of them have a 12 martial king to lead them. And they can't use this mercenary force because I'm already paying for them. And if they try to buy them off me, I can just rebuy them off. So I think we're good to go here with the Kaman War. This is going to be the final step in forming a ROM and firmly entering the mid-game. So let's go ahead and get to it. No allies once again. We're going in all by ourselves. That is the theme of this episode. Declare war on Sama. Here we go. So the Sinai Palestinian local power of Sama with Jericho and Moab have rallied together to defend. In we go. Straight to Sama. But that's going to have to wait for the next episode of the Dammâseq campaign. Sorry for another cliffhanger ending here, but don't want to go too close to the time limit here. Another fun episode, so thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know in the comments, by the way, what you think of the campaign so far. I love to get some feedback. Obviously, I want to see that in every comment section, but this is a pretty good kind of, like, moment to breathe as we're about to finish off the early game. So let me know what you think so far for the pace we're at. Obviously, I'm playing at a brisk but thorough pace, and we are making sure not to rush too fast and overpace or outstretch our resources. But let me know what you think about everything, and if you have any suggestions, love to see those. I may not see them for quite a while, because I'm probably pretty far ahead of the release schedule at this point, but whatever the case, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.